What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. My name is Andrew and welcome to the first video of 2021. Now, with the holiday season over, you might have gotten gift cards, maybe you've gotten some cash and you're looking to pick up a new piece of gear. Whether this is your first instrument and you want to start your musical journey or you want to add to a collection, today's video is on why someone would want a Fender Stratocaster. The Stratocaster started off as an idea that was conceived in 1951 by Leo Fender. Now, Leo was not a musician himself, but he wanted to, quote, build a better guitar. And from that line, the Stratocaster was born, rather than just building a better Telecaster, which was already a top-selling guitar from Fender. Now, what I'm about to say might be commonplace for today's standards here in 2021, but at the time in 1951, you gotta remember this was pretty new for the time. The Stratocaster had two major innovations, one being the pickup selector switch, allowing the player to switch between the pickups and get different tones from the Stratocaster's configuration. The second would be the rounded edges of the body. At the time, most guitars had sound chambers and required the edges to be squared off for acoustic reasons, but the rounded edges made it really comfortable for a lot of players to hold. The Stratocaster was initially a failure and was redesigned in 1953 and officially released in 1954 as Fender's top-line guitar. And with this release, it was capable of way more than Fender had initially planned. Improvements would be made on this design until 1957, when Fender pretty much came up with it's tripped over like 9 million words. Improvements would be made on this design until 1957, when Fender came up with a formula that has gone pretty much unchanged this entire time. One of the most notable features on the Strat are the pickups themselves, the Alnico pickups. That's A-L-N-I-C-O. All of these letters combine the first beginning letters of three different metals: Al for aluminum, Ni for nickel, and Co for cobalt. Now, there are mainly two iterations of the Alnico pickups, the Alnico 3s, which don't contain cobalt, and because of this fact, the magnets are a lot weaker. But what they do is, oh god, Kevin's gonna laugh when he hears that one. But what they are capable of is impeding string vibration, which allows for a more solid tone. Now, Stratocasters remained largely unknown. It wasn't until 1957 when Buddy Holly played a Stratocaster on the Ed Sullivan Show when performing with the Crickets. Now, if the many features of the Stratocaster don't show you why you should get one, maybe some of the star power behind the Stratocaster will. Some of the most famous players of this guitar include Buddy Holly, Pete Townsend, David Gilmour, Jimi Hendrix, and John Mayer. Now, there are many more players out there, but to go through them all would take all day. Now, before we get into the ultimate question of why would someone want a Strat, we have to look at what makes a Stratocaster a Stratocaster. In 2021, there are many variations of a Strat, and features are going to vary from series to series, but here are some of the common ones that we were able to find. First off, on the neck, the maple fingerboard. One piece, usually found on a lot of Strats. You can find rosewood substitutes on different series, but maple is usually the most common. This is going to produce a bright and percussive sound, perfect for the funk players who want to get those 16th notes going. Second, the fretboard itself, 22 frets, giving you a 25.5-inch scale length. Perfect for the players who want to shred and get really high up on that fretboard, getting those screeching high notes. And speaking of screeching high notes, you're going to want to get to those, and that's why this body is great, having a cutaway that allows you to get up to those frets very easily. The body itself is usually made of two woods, either alder wood or ash. Alder is going to give you that bright, sharp attack, while ash is going to give you a balance between the brightness and the warmth of a tone. For electronics, usually stock Stratocasters have 3 single coil pickups, however you are able to find humbucker versions on the bridge as well. Now, before we get into the ultimate question of the video, why would you want a Stratocaster, let's get over to Hayden Crocker, D-Roll's audio engineer, and we're going to see how this thing sounds. Now, the ultimate question of the video, why would you want a Stratocaster? There are three major reasons that we were able to come up with. The first reason is that modern Strats have a lot of tone variation and control over those tones. I mentioned a three-way selector switch on the original Strats. Modern Strats now have 5 selector switches, allowing you to get the best combination for your sound. Secondly, a staple of the Stratocaster is the whammy bar. Now, this isn't exclusive to the Stratocaster, I am aware, but the whammy bar made one of its original appearances on the Strat. This is going to give tone benders a lot more control aside from bending the strings themselves. And finally, the Stratocaster can be so easily customized. This is one of the guitars that you can really rip it apart, put new electronics in, and make it your own. If you're into customizing your instruments, the Stratocaster is definitely the guitar for you. Now, what Strat should you get? Let's look at the pricing options. There are a lot of Stratocasters out there, so we picked 2 of the most common, being a Squier Series Stratocaster and a Players Series Stratocaster. If you're looking at an entry-level Squier Stratocaster, you're going to be looking at $329.99 Canadian dollars. And if you're a more experienced player looking for your first Stratocaster, you'd be very hard-pressed to go with the Players Series Strat that's going to run you $979.99, also in Canadian dollars. So to recap, why would you want a Stratocaster? For beginning players, you get access to a lot of tone variation and tone control out of one guitar. If you're a more experienced player, the ease of upgrading and customization makes the Stratocaster one of the most versatile guitars out there. If you're into making your instruments your own and really customizing to the way you want them, get a Strat. Now, there is another model out there called the Telecaster. In the next video, we'll be going over why you would want that instead of a Strat. Thank you guys so much for watching. Welcome to 2021. Here at D-Roll, we are committed that you get fantastic content, and we are so excited to build our channel with you guys this year. Hope you're all doing well. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.